few months ago I did a review of this, the new JV001G 40 volt max Makita barrel grip, and today we are gonna put it up against the new 40 volt max JV002G top handle D-Handle Jigsaw. As well as that, we've also got the D-Handle 18 volt brushless as well, and my old school brush D-handle as well. Maybe we'll even put that in the mix somewhere. Now, you may have noticed my voice sounds a little bit off. I went to a funeral yesterday morning at 10 o'clock and it was still going pretty hard at 10 o'clock at night, so there was a lot of singing and a lot of drinking, and yeah, so I might be a little bit off in this video. Certainly at the start of it anyway. Looking at some of the numbers, the barrel grip 40 volt, 3,500 strokes per minute, 3,500 strokes per minute, and the DJV182, 3,500 strokes per minute, 135 millimeter depth of cut, maximum depth of cut. That's through timber, of course. It's different when it comes to metal and aluminium and plastics and stuff like that. So the specs all very similar, apart from wattage, 390 watts outputting from this one, 700 from this one, and according to Makita New Zealand's website, 800 from this one, 100 more than this. So is this going to be more powerful? Is it going to cut quicker than this? Well, we're about to find out in just a moment. Weight wise, the new D-handle comes in at 2,775 grams with a battery, the 2.5 amp, and the barrel grip feels roughly the same, 2,650, so about 125 grams more for the D-handle over the barrel grip. Now, what about the 18 volt with a battery on? About the 2,650 mark as well, so the same as this. Now, all of these jigsaws have 3 orbital functions as well as just a straight cut. So with the straight cut, the blade's just going up and down, up and down, up and down. And if it's on one of these orbital ones, as well as going up and down like this, it's also going like this. And that just gives you a far quicker cut. Not as clean, but if you want to just cut something out roughly, quickly, get it out of the way before you do your fine cuts, then those orbital functions are very, very handy. All of these have a speed dial as well. They start at about 800 and go up to the max of 3,500. The old brushed one here does not have speed control. You just do it all old school with your finger on the trigger, which I prefer. I don't like the speed control all that much on a jigsaw. It depends on what you're doing, of course, but with a jigsaw, being able to use the trigger is super nice. Now, you can't, of course, do that with a barrel grip. Barrel grips don't have a trigger. You basically just turn it on and it's going at whatever you have set on your dial, which I don't like. I like to be able to go up and down in speed and slow down for corners, whatever, you know. I like to change it up. Let's listen to just how slow we can start with this thing. Turn it on. So to turn it on, get this button up the front. Now, so that's as slow as you can go, and you can just slowly put more and more pressure on. So that's on the max speed. If you had it set on somewhere else on the dial, when you've pulled the trigger to its full extent, it will only get up to the max speed that you've got on the dial. So if you just want to pull the trigger and go, then you can set it to the max you want and just go for it, or you can have it on max basically all the time and just slowly control it all with the trigger. The trigger also has a lock on it, so you can, if you're doing lots of fiddly work and you want to be holding the saw in a different place than having your hand on the top there, if you want to use it a bit more like a barrel jigsaw, then you can do that. Or if you've got it set underneath a table or something, then that lock-on feature, very handy. Is it kind of annoying with all the extra hands in the background and stuff? Maybe we'll shift this TV for the next shot. I'll just quickly finish off telling you a few more things about them though. We've got a plastic base here, as you can see. You've got in the back here where you put your Allen key for adjusting your base, so you can bevel it either way, 45 degrees. The bases are the same on both of these as far as I can see, and same with these older ones. I think it's just a slight width difference, maybe. No, they look identical to that one. And the old brushed one, no, same width. New one just slightly longer. So this base is about yay longer than the old brushed one there. Now it comes in the box with this dust extraction thing, which is good. Let's just tilt the camera down a little bit here so we can see. And that clips on here. You can put it on either side. You clip it on, screw it in the front there, hook your hose on the back. Boof that side, boof that side, whichever you want. The screw just swivels from side to side depending on which side you put it on. They come with a small removable splinter guard in the base as well. It just pops out. They do pop out a little bit too easily though. A lot of people lose those pretty damn quickly, I know that. I'll talk about one more thing, and that's the soft start. Now both of these have soft start, but they also can be turned off. I think they come turned off now, and then you can turn it on. I'll show you how to turn that on and off shortly, but first we'll just go do some hard out cuts and see if this is gruntier than this. Have they made it more powerful than the previous one? There's plenty of power in this. It's pretty much plenty of power. Quite tricky to find, especially with a hangover. Plenty of power in all of these jigsaws. I think, it's a jigsaw. You don't need a ton of power with a jigsaw because they're not for hacking through massive logs. You're doing, fine cuts with them usually. But we will see which one is the quickest out of these. Now, unfortunately, I think this model is the one with the soft start permanently on. When they first released these, the soft start couldn't be turned off, and then they changed it for later models. So depending on what year you bought yours, some will have the soft start always on, and some will have the option of turning it on or off. And I know there's at least one person called Robert who will make a comment about that down below this video, as well as these microwave buttons that he loves so much. I've got the 40-volt barrel grip and the D-handle both set up with the same blade. Nice, rough, brand new, made in Japan. Wood cutting blades, and I'll just show you how the blades go in and out. When you want to get them out, flick the lever here and ping, out they go. And when you want to stick them back in, you just push it in. You don't have to pull the lever back when you're putting them in like the first models. You just slide it in like so, and click, in she goes. She is in. Get it out again, flip the lever, out it fires. Pretty basic. That system is the same on the barrel grip and the D-handle. So these are both set for their top speed, and they are both running with the soft start turned off. I have a freshly charged 2.5 amp hour battery on both of these. Let's go see if there's any difference in cut speed. Both of those cuts I started off straight and then got a bit wobbly because I was trying to go as fast as possible, and so they got a bit slanted as well. The more you push a jigsaw, if you're going too fast, too hard, trying to do tight curves especially, you'll end up getting the splaying of the blade. So it's done that on this, but of course I was only doing a speed test, so it's not a problem. I hit my sawhorse there, that's why I had to back up. But as you can see, on the fine setting, no oscillation, she cuts pretty nicely. Very tight turn here, did cause a little bit of burning. And of course, different blades for different purposes. If you're using a jigsaw, you've no doubt got lots of different blades. So you have blades for cutting metal, you have blades. This is a very aggressive blade designed to cut wood fast. You're doing a fine cut like this for keepsies, you wouldn't use that blade. You would use a far finer toothed blade. You can also see how aggressive that blade is on the edge of the timber. When I was doing the oscillation cut, just rips it to bits. Put it on the no oscillation, much nicer finish. Wow, that is completely different. Much rougher. Holy moly. Okay, we're going to do the brushless 18 volt, even though the soft start can't be turned off. Let's give that a whirl. You can see how the soft start works. Top speed. Wow, that tore everything to bits as well. The 40 volts, much smoother. The oscillation seems far less aggressive on the 40 volt models over the 18 volt models. That is what they look like with the biggest batteries. The 8 amp hour, absolutely massive. It's a little bit silly, makes this one a bit back heavy. Well, it makes them both a bit back heavy. This one doesn't seem as noticeable because it's almost touching your workpiece. Let's have a quick look at the soft start feature, turning it on and off. So let's turn on the tool. Right, so she's in flat out mode, no soft start. So the soft start just allows you to start your cut in a gentle fashion, get going, and then ramp up the speed so that you don't damage the edge of your piece of work when you start. So while it's not under load, the tool runs slower, as you saw with the 18 volt in the back there, that one over there. But personally, I think it's annoying, and I know a lot of guys hated it. Because you've got a trigger, so you can just go at whatever speed you want anyway and control your own start and then ramp it up to whatever you want. So you don't need the tool stopping and starting for you. So it's on full at the moment. If you want to change it, turn your tool off, shove this onto number 1. Turn your tool on, see those 2 flashes of the lights there, go up to 6, back down to 1, flashes, it's now on soft start. So even though I will pull my finger completely on the trigger, it won't go flat out like it did a moment ago in setting 6. Okay, so the speed's reduced by at least half there. Now we'll put it back, we'll turn it off, stick it back on 1, turn it on, 6, 1, flashity flash, and it should be full on again now once we stick it back on number 6. Turned off. So there you go, that's how you change it, simple as that. You saw it flash when it was doing it. Unfortunately, these older models like this one is just always stuck on the soft start. No matter what you do, stick it on number 1, turn on the tool, go to 6, back to 1, no flashing of lights, nothing changes, it stays on soft start. Bit disappointing, but the 40 volt ones come comes standard with it turned off, so it doesn't confuse anybody. And then if you want to activate it, the instructions, like I've just given you, the instructions are also in the manual. If you need to change it later at any point, you can't remember how to do it. So that's an improvement on the original 18 volt ones. Although some of the newer 18 volt ones do have the on-off option with the soft start as well. And for those of you who were annoyed that when you beveled the base of the barrel grip that you could no longer use a 5 or 8 amp hour battery because they crash into your work surface, well, fear not, it is not an issue. They've made it so that you can run an 8 amp hour and there's still a bit of space, so they might even be able to put bigger batteries on this, although it does somewhat destroy the sort of maneuverability and handling when you've got a almost 2 kg slab on the back of this thing. But it can be done, unlike the barrel grip. And so let's go quickly use it like that. Now, problem I had there was with that massive battery on, I couldn't turn it because it hit this. If it had a 2.5 on, I would have gotten around. So yeah, using a big battery on a jigsaw is a bit silly. But that's what it looks like on a 45. So which sort of style do you prefer, the D-handle or the barrel grip? Let me know down below. I'll tell you which one I prefer now and why. I prefer the D-handle for most of the time. I would rather have this. The barrel grip is good if you want that lower center of gravity. It is nice for certain things, good for coping, good for doing upside down obviously, but I like to have finger control of my speed. I don't want to be trying to swivel a dial while I'm using it and stuff. And I don't like the barrel grip for, well, let me give you a for instance. Don't like having to do the reach around and find the button. I'd far rather just take my finger off a trigger like this one. With this old school D-handle, you have much greater control. You don't have to try and fiddle for a dial while you're cutting to change speed, and you don't have to fiddle for a button when you want to stop. And you can be going flat out and then just ease it off before you pop out the other side so you don't blow out your timber. I much prefer that sort of control. Also in the video for this barrel grip, I said that I preferred my old brush D-handle still to all the other Makita jigsaws. That has now changed. After using it side by side with this, see, I didn't see enough of a change between that and the brushless one. I hated the soft start, like I said. Whereas this one, you can turn that on and off easy, so it'll just stay off forever. You have the speed dial, which you don't have on the brushed one. You do have it on the brushless 18 volt, but it's just so much smoother. The extra speed, the extra power just means it cuts much nicer. You try and push these other ones quite quick, you'll get a rough cut. Whereas this manages to keep it pretty damn good. And so I think this will now become my go-to. This one served me well over the years. She's been a good old tool. But I think now it's time to upgrade to the Makita 40 volt XG TD handle. And yeah, this is also an awesome option if you like jigsaws, you need a jigsaw, and you like barrel grips, of course. They're pretty basic jigsaws, like there's nothing extraneous on them. You know, there's no lever to move this. You've got to do it the old school way. It's pretty old school. There's not a whole lot of protective stuff here. They're just basic good jigsaws. You know, there's no frills. It just works. It does the job, and it does the job smoothly, which is super important with a jigsaw. And I guess that's about all there is to tell you. You can get fence guides that go in here, so you can run it along the edge of a piece of timber. You can get guides that go on a track, although I don't know why you'd really put a jigsaw on a track. If you've got a track, why aren't you using a track saw, for instance? You get them far nicer cut, far straighter than you're going to get with a jigsaw. Jigsaws aren't great in straight lines, really. But thanks again for watching my videos in 2023. That's another Makita XGT1 done. This is my last review of the year. So I spent a couple of weeks now getting my barbecue going, getting all my sheds finished, getting the garden tidied up, and I'll see you all in 2024. Cheers, guys. If you miss me, just go watch some of the other videos that are down there or up in the top corner. See you later. Oh, I'm glad you didn't arrive earlier, Mr. Blowfly. They usually arrive when I push the record button, not when I stop recording.